I analyzed my last 43 sales calls using Notebook LM and asked what was the biggest pain point that people felt was stopping them from seeing success when it comes to their go-to-market strategy. And the number one pain point was their outbound was ineffective or felt spammy, and they were getting fatigued from it with low results, low response rate, and not much coming from it. So in this video, I wanted to talk about that low response rate from outbound and how to remedy this, because there's two schools of thoughts here, and I want to take you through both and what I found from working in the space for 8 years, because I come from a sales background. I did door-to-door, I did exhibitions and events, I sold law publications, I sold fruit to offices, did it all from in-person to just on the phone to a mixture of both, and now online, where I've ran an agency for the last 8 years. So, and we help companies with their go-to-market. So I've got a good idea on this, because what we started off doing is much like what most people start doing with LinkedIn and email, is they just target people directly as they go, and they use these platforms which are organic, which is great. But the first thing they do is just kind of ask, want to have a meeting, and they may, they may, pretty this up, put some makeup on it, and call it a strategy call, but in essence, it's just a sales call in disguise. And that's what's being felt from people who receive these in the inbox. No matter even if you're using some sophisticated personalization to do so, to make, to look at someone's post and say, great post, or great to see the case studies that you've seen, that you're doing, and the work you're doing. This looks amazing. Do you want to have a call about how we can help? This is very hard to get working, and I'll explain why. Because of the value equation. So you've got the value equation is basically an equation for whether people deem this a value. So when you ask for a strategy call, the things that people are thinking to themselves is first the outcome you're presenting up front. Is it something of interest? Next is how much effort do I have to put in, and then I'm looking at the risk from my side. And last, outcome, effort, risk, and time frame. So how long is this going to take? So this is the value equation, right? So this is what people are starting to think anytime you offer something. So their brain is going through, how long is this going to take me? Is it something I'm even interested in? How much effort do I have to put in? Like, when will I actually get the results? So this is the value equation. This is from Alex Hormozy, right? And the problem with this is that it's high effort, right? So if we talk about effort, it's high. The outcome, even though you're promising, maybe more booked meetings, or that you're going to develop their LMS solution, whatever it is, but the outcome is pretty low in their mind, because unless they're ready to buy here and now, they may not even be looking for the outcome that you're promising there and then. So this may be low to medium for them. Unless they're searching and actively looking for your solution there and then, in most situations they're not. So you're scoring low there, and then the risk for them is time, man. Like, they value their time, and they are thinking, okay, I'm going to be on a 60-minute call with this person, or 30 to 60 minute. It's a lot. It's a high ask. So all of this is a high ask. So when you go out and you send messages, you're getting into some people's inboxes, but they're just seeing this. It's a high ask, and it's not worth the risk. So you get no response, right? Because they've got 101 things to do, and the last thing they're thinking about is this person that they've never heard of before, reaching out to them, asking them for a meeting. So they just push it aside. So they may open it, they may not. And this then starts tanking your deliverability rates, right? Because the more people that don't respond, the more your emails start getting pushed into spam. And the less you see from it. And this is what causes the fatigue across sales teams and people. So this causes the fatigue. This makes people feel spammy, and they get low response rates, right? So this is the problem that's happening, and you may be experiencing this yourself. You're launching campaign after campaign, and it's just not going anywhere. So you start getting paralysis by analysis. You don't know what to launch, how to launch it, what you're doing wrong, and you just kind of go around in circles, and this motion never seems to get past the start point for you and your team. And you focus on other endeavors, other initiatives. You may fall back on partners or referrals that have been your safety net. But we want you to grow this, and how we do that typically is looking at this value equation and aligning it to something. In the first instance, there's two types of campaigns we launch. One, we call this the foundational campaign. So you think about, I'm just going to make my head smaller here, but you think about what we call the foundational campaign is it's based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm going to introduce another shape here, is basically looking at the above food and shelter people like social connection, status, and growth. So that's above. Once you've got your base needs met, that's what you're looking for. So how can you align your campaign to Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Because if this is intrinsically what people want and humans want, then you're gonna be able to start targeting their needs, right? And giving them what they innately want as human beings. And this is the backbone of our relationship-based approach, which is that at the end of the day, if you're using smart automation but it's not linked to things that are innately human, you're missing the trick. And I know this from experience because I was one of the first to start automating LinkedIn. It was a great first mover's advantage at the time, but I didn't know what I had. I relied on that like it was going to be around forever, and it slowly started depreciating in results because more people started using it, became less effective. And if I knew this, I would have been able to leverage what I knew then with this to build more equity and more relationship depth, which is really important, really integral to your business long term. And a lot of people don't think of this because they're just looking at results from a campaign immediately, rather than what can it do, what can it deliver over the next decade, in the next year, in the next quarter. And I'll talk you through that. So we got social, status, and growth. And you can think, if you think about what are these elements. So social is being connected with one another. So what we find works well here is things like groups, right? Groups and roundtables, because groups and roundtables helps to scratch that itch, which is connecting with other people. You could even say that it goes into some of these other remits, but essentially what this is helping people do is connect with others. So whenever we've launched a group campaign, we've gotten responses from it. Never has it not received a response. So it's just a very easy campaign to launch. And that's what we want to make life is easy. We want things that are easy to launch that will continue to produce results time and time again. Next is status. So status is, hey, I want to feel important. I want to feel like I've got something to say. A lot of people you're going out to have spent years in the field. You're going out to decision makers, C-level executives. They've got their own stories to share. A lot of the time they're looking at their personal brand, how they can impact it. And if you are able to help them with that, then guess what? You're going to have their attention. You're going to have their interest. And you're going to have a meeting with them. You're going to be in the room with the people you want to be in front of, delivering value. And this works in twofold, right? Because it then also elevates your own brand, because you can be aligned with partners and brands that otherwise you wouldn't have been in front of. When I worked in exhibitions and events, one of the biggest packages you could buy was sponsorship, to be aligned with and associated with other brands, to be associated with the event. You sponsored the lanyards. You sponsored some of the big displays that were out there. And this was to build your brand presence. And it was typically reserved for the biggest organizations out there. and you can get that same feel through inviting people to an interview or podcast. It doesn't have to be in a podcast, it can be an interview. You can repurpose it through written content, but basically it's a content partnership in some shape or form, and it gets you through the door. Last is growth. So these are more assets. So again, what we find well here is Loom videos, roadmaps, guides. And this is, again, if you think about growth, it's like how people are thinking, how do I take it to the next level? How do I get my business to the next level? So they're absorbing information. A lot of senior executives are looking at information, the lay of the land, they're educating themselves, they're big on reading. So if you're able to show reports, guides, roadmaps, Loom videos, this is great, because what you're asking for, especially in this and this, is not a lot of time, right? Especially with groups. If I need to join a group, it's a click of a button. If I have a 2-minute video that I want to send across, or you're asking me for 2 minutes of my time, it's not a lot. A roadmap, I can read that in 1 minute. So when we go back to our value equation up here, it's a high outcome. I might learn something, that may change the game for me. Effort is low, time is low, and to get results, I might implement it and get something immediately, right? So you've then started to move this into low ask territory. Now, yes, with interviews and podcasts, it's more effort on their side, but then the outcome is higher because they're going to get exposure to a new network. It's going to build their personal brand. The results or the outcome they get is immediate. The time frame, they record the interview. Off the back of that, they get assets. So again, a lot of this is self-explanatory. It's stuff that people know. It's the most advanced yet acceptable. It's Maya principle. So you're not trying to teach them anything new in terms of like they understand these things. So whereas your solution may be something a bit more difficult to understand. But essentially this can be launched and you'll see responses immediately. What this also does is that it gets you in front of your total addressable market, or your total serviceable market. So these are the people that you can actually go out to and service with your solution, right? And I'm going to use another triangle to bring home this point, because what we're looking at here is there's people that are ready to buy now, and then there's people that are in a problem phase, so they're looking at problems, but the ready to buy are like 1 to 5% max of your total addressable market. The people who have a problem and are problem aware, this is more closer to 40 to 60%. And then everyone else, they can fall into some other category. But essentially, these are the types of people you're targeting at the moment with your high ask approach. So the majority of people you're going out to are not ready, and that's why you're not getting responses. They are problem aware, and by targeting the problems and providing assets, you're able to get tons more responses because you're going downstream, and there's less competition here as well. Most people are targeting here. If they're ready to buy, they're already speaking to vendors. Here, they're not speaking to vendors. You can position yourself first, and you can fill up a pipeline that's ready for conversion 3 to 6 months down the line. So this is intrinsic to compound. The good thing about these assets are they compound as well, especially podcasts and groups and roundtables. These are events that you can get known for, and you can position yourself in the prospect's mind as someone that's memorable because you're giving out value straight from the jump, and you're building relationship depth. Very important here. Now, you may be asking, hey, this is all great. We're starting to do some of this stuff, but what's the other side to it? The other side is micro campaigns. So micro campaigns are far more gritty. Like I'm talking, you're looking at targeting this 1%, right? These people who are ready to buy, and you are having to take a completely, like if we are talking about AI, we're looking at public data sets, your company's strengths, and we're looking at how we can use the knowledge or the insights from your company's, I'd say actually your company's solutions and the pain points you solve, yeah, right? So this is where you can start now. I'll class this more as a, if I was to actually change this object, it would be a circle, then this would be a circle, right? And this is the Venn diagram, right? So you're looking for that sweet spot. So here, right here is the sweet spot. And that's going to be the people who are ready to buy now. And you need to be able to charm the socks off these people. By referencing public data sets and aligning it with what you're able to solve, you're then able to come up with a very specific value-driven campaign. So Jordan Crawford is awesome at this, but it's basically sending a message that someone would otherwise pay for. All right, so this is like you're providing them with insights that is going to benefit them immediately. Basically sending them money in their inbox. So an example of this is we worked with a company who works in data integration, right? And we were able to find public data on companies who are being fined for late payments and things that would otherwise be solved for if they had data integration in place. And we're able to point to a financial figure that they're being fined for because of a lack of automation, and we're able to provide a solution there and then. Now, when you go here and back to the value equation, the outcome and the effort and the risk, all of this is immediate, basically. And that's where you're able to start printing meetings, right? Because you're getting in front of prospects that have an immediate need, and you're providing an immediate solution. So they're much more likely to jump on a call. The problem with this is that it's, you need to experiment and you need to test. And this is where GTM engineering comes in, where you're looking at multiple variables and campaigns and ideas that you can experiment with to try and get to this result. There are other types of micro campaigns where you look at your existing customer base and then you do a lookalike. So this works really well. We've been able to find specific customer avatars that we've already delivered results for and searched up those specific avatars and been able to present a case study that basically demonstrates our competence and our ability to achieve a specific outcome. And that's allowed us to close business in 5 weeks for certain clients in very hard to reach niches. The one other way that you can really just go to the market, and this takes some nuance, but is complementary campaigns, which is pretty much going out and kind of offering something that would otherwise be paid for. So if you're doing this, it's very important that you qualify hard, because you don't want to be doing free work for everyone, but for the right people that have the right criteria, it's a great way for you to be able to show and prove. If you have the ability to do this and you have spare resources available, then it's a great way to start having conversations, but naturally you may get some tire kickers. So this is where the public data sets and your ability to find signals and identify signals is going to be a sweet spot for you to be able to orchestrate a system that delivers the right types of opportunities, so you're not just screening all day tire kickers rather than people that are actually serious about solving the problem that you help solve. So just to recap, big pain point here is that companies see low response rates from outbound. They're fatigued. They're trying to use LinkedIn to generate and emails to generate new meetings, but they're going very hard in the paint for booking in meetings and with the call to action that they have. Why that's not working is because of the value equation, because the outcome, effort, risk and reward and time frame is deemed as a high ask from the people you're reaching out to. This creates low response rates and deliverability issues, which then leads to fatigue, spammy outcomes, and just no revenue in the bank, really. To get revenue in the bank, what you need to do is open up conversations. To open up conversations immediately, you want to launch a foundational campaign aligned with one of or three of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is either growth, status, or social. These can be for growth, Loom videos, roadmaps, and guides. For status, it's interviewing and launching your own podcast. For social, it's groups and roundtables. These are all immediately valuable to the people that you're going out to. It opens up your total addressable market. Why that's important is because most people are targeting the ready to buy people, and the competition here is fierce. If you're able to build relationship depth with the majority of people in your total addressable market, of which 40 to 60% should have a problem that you help solve, then you're far more likely to start converting 3, 6, 12 months down the line. And that's why this foundational campaign works. It's low lift, it's very easy to get going. You create a couple searches, you launch a campaign with some great written content, and you get going. When you have that foundational campaign set up, then you launch micro campaigns. So these are more specific campaigns that are targeting those 1 to 5% of your audience that are ready to buy. And you're doing that by referencing your public datasets, the public datasets that are out there. There's tons that are out there. You've got the SEC filings, you've got companies' house filings, you've got public datasets on fines and all this other great stuff. And you're using that alongside what your solution is, the pain points you solve, what your outcomes are. And you're finding the sweet spot of people that are experiencing the pain points you help solve. They may be incurring expenses because of it, and you're able to provide and write a message that is value driven, basically sending money in their inbox because you're able to solve an immediate problem they have, an immediate need they have with an immediate solution. And this is where go-to-market engineering comes in. Outside of that, you've got your customer base and looking up lookalike companies off the back of that, finding clients there and sharing your case studies, as well as complementary campaigns, which is basically going out to some targeted individuals with a campaign where you are offering to do work they would otherwise pay for. And if you have this set up in your organization, you're going to start seeing results from it. Now, if you want this, don't have the resources, capacity, or you just need a bit of hand-holding to see what's best, then reach out to us in onda.co.uk. You can book in a call direct, and we'll help you to just put together a plan, right? No questions asked, right? You can go and launch that yourself, or you can have us do it and increase the speed to result. So that's in onda.co.uk. Follow along for more videos like this. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.